Okay, I know what you're going to tell me, and you're going to say that light can't be better than quantum because quantum is particles and stuff, and everything else is so sophisticated and whatever. They use this whole device they've designed to try to be better than me, but they're still not better than me.
What is no-brainers?
Shut up.
To a dead stop.
Now that will slow the atoms down, but it won't.
A photon, the atom will eventually re-emit the photon in a random direction. This process is repeated millions of times, with the atom absorbing photons from the laser light and losing a little bit more speed in each interaction. If lasers are applied from all 6 directions, this can slow down the atom essentially to a dead stop.
Now that will slow the atoms down, but it won't trap them. So what we also add is a magnetic field, and that adds a restoring force, so the atoms are sucked into the center of the magnetic field. In this setup, we have 6 separate laser beams arranged, so one from this direction and its partner from above, one from this direction and its partner, and then one kind of in this direction and one traveling this way.
I'm going to explain to you exactly why this is a very broken system for the same reason atomic clocks are broken. Light takes time to get places the faster you go. If you try to put this on a spaceship, you're going to fuck it up. Now, if you want to tell it, the way this works is basically they take some atomic particles, right? They shine a laser at it so that it all of the different motions that the particle could have, it exerts electrons, photons in the direction pretty much from everywhere. So ironically also they include electromagnetism, and guess what doesn't like that? Neutrons. We're not going to get into that today. But the point is, they do this and they end up with a substance that's supposed to not move and is supposed to totally have complete empty motion. And the moment that it starts being let go, whatever direction your ship is moving in, it will start going and lagging behind the ship a little bit, basically like it's an eddy current from your direction. It'll go backwards, obviously. Whatever. Or if you move to the side, it'll move to the other side. All of that stuff. The general idea of what happens when you put a bottle or a drink on the table while you're on a plane, whatever direction that cup starts to flow in, that's the direction the plane is turning the other way. So, okay, well, it doesn't work so well when you're having the plane tilted and turning in the opposite direction, and the forces kind of cancel out. That's not the point. But the point is, if you start turning in one direction, the momentum will push your drink to the opposite direction. Stuff like that is really simple and really easy to mess up. Not to mention the fact that you normally want to have some kind of inertial dampening like they have in planes so that your drinks don't just tip over randomly because the cabin is literally being twisted to compensate for the turn. That's a thing they do. Something like that. I don't know. Or they bank along with their turns so that the total amount of force you're still experiencing is basically down. You don't even experience when it turns. So something like that will negate your ability to even feel this effect that the laser is happening. Also, guess what? It refreshes once every second because they have one system for this. Obviously, if you want to refresh rate faster, you need to have the process rate happen in more objects. That way you can have a faster refresh rate. But guess what's faster than that? Goddamn light. I've already made a video talking about if you have a light cone facing the direction of travel, for example, then if you start going a certain speed, that light cone is going to start expanding because the light actually takes longer to travel to get to the back of that panel. The same as if you were to have that panel a further distance, light literally took a longer time and a further distance to keep up with your ship. So my light system works, 1, in space, 2, at high speeds beyond Mach 5 and whatever. And this one just simply doesn't. Why did I say Mach 5? I don't know. It doesn't matter, because this system here, the quantum system, is too touchy and too impractical to work at speed. You'll work on low speeds, and you will not. You can't work it to do this at high speeds. Not only do you not want to do that, but guess what happens? All sorts of momentum changes. If it happens at refresh rate every second, you can have differences and changes that can be lost in those moments between. Even if you up the refresh rate, you can't guarantee that you're going to know what's happening to the ship at all times as fast as light could just simply give you. Except for, of course, this is complementary. The light system doesn't work at low speeds as easily because the speed that you're moving and the direction you're moving will change in a very great way at the higher speeds, in a very small way on the lower speeds. Or the effects are more dramatic for the atomic particles, and you can achieve this kind of sensor reading, and all it tells you is, are you moving forward? Have you shifted to the right? Have you shifted to the left? All of this is understood only at a second by second, like echolocation, like sonar, and it's slow. And guess what? We can of course speed this up. I know that, but that's not the point. Like I said, you go by Mach 5 is my original random brain fart explanation. You start going faster, then this system can give you proper adjustments of where you've actually traveled. You won't have a fair estimation of and be able to calculate where you have traveled because there will be all sorts of gigantic gaps in a single second. At Mach 5, you're moving at crazy speeds. Once you go past Mach 5, you're just gonna be shooting in the dark. You will never know. So, yes. 1 second refresh rate doesn't cut it. My system is basically as fast as the speed of light and your camera refresh rate. That is watching and analyzing the signal, that is where the light is, the intensity of the light, how big it is, what shape it is. If it's a circle or if it's an oval, and what direction that oval is, and all of that. You can easily tell where you are headed instantaneously. With a computer that can easily calculate all of that, you can know within fractions of a second refresh rate. It's insanely good. But they're using this because quantum research. Of course it is. And I'm not saying it couldn't possibly be useful in most applications that are on low speeds, but again, you start going faster, you will lose a lot more information no matter how fast your refresh rate you're able to go. Multiply this system by 100 and you're using way more power than a goddamn flashlight pointing at a basic cone going at a standard angle constantly in a direction of travel. Or you can have, guess what, multiple flashlights moving in all different directions, telling you exactly any one of the possible movements that you could have done. If it goes bigger, smaller, turns oblong, or whatever else in any of those flashlight possible directions, you could have 6, you could have 8, you could have hundreds. Who cares? And you will know your speed and your direction in all directions, rapid refresh rate of, let's say, I don't know, 100 million per second. Do you need better than that? Thank you. Goodbye.